Greetings and salutations, my divine friends, from near and far and from many constellations and galaxies. Welcome to Earth. If it's your first visit, hold on to your hats. The mystery, the magic of the star tetrahedron, divine masculine power, the focusing of attention and light, resting upon the divine feminine of imagination, feeling as the two are united. It is the divine feminine of love and imagination is the womb of creation. And as the light then focuses specifically upon images and feelings arising forth out of the feeling nature of mother, the womb, it shines light through it. And then spirit arising forth from out of the open doorway within the heart gives it life and light. And so manifestation occurs. And of course, we are learning how to hone and refine our consciousness and light by learning to love ourselves when we find those parts of self that weren't loved because they were programmed in ignorance. Not so much in error, but simply in ignorance because we chose our mother, our father, our cultural circumstances in order to put us through the test of evolution. And what that means is all life on the planet has evolved and adapted to the environment. And so when the environment changes, the one-celled amoebas in the very beginning of the oceans and the fermenting of life on the planet, as the salinity difference or maybe the potassium or the magnesium, certain one-celled beings, amoebas, could adapt to that, and thus they survived. And because they survived and one similar to them survived, they then were able to be united. And those that didn't adapt simply perished and fall away. And so everything is always adapting to the environment. And so we are going through, of course, a tremendous environmental shift on the planet at this particular time, both politically, economically, socially, culturally, as well as the actual environment of the planet itself. And we're being asked to adapt to these new circumstances and situations. If we don't adapt and we keep swimming in the ocean of ignorance, which is money, power, manipulation, control, needing, wanting, and desiring to be fulfilled, one will never be fulfilled that way. One will have maybe the best car, it'll crash and you'll find another car. You'll find you think the perfect relationship, and because you don't work on your own relationship with self, you then see that that relationship is not fulfilling you and you divorce it, get rid of it, on and on and on, and infinitum. Once again, nothing wrong with any of that. It's simply as you choose those things exteriorly and you don't find happiness or peace, do you begin to adapt inwardly and begin to ask, well, what is it within me that is attracting those things that bother me, those things that cause me suffering, those things that don't really fulfill me? And so you are then adapting to the environment. And as we're adapting to the environment with our particular work, which is meditation, we are adapting and bringing in a higher frequency of consciousness that as it downloads into the body, we are then at the forefront of evolution. Because not only are we adapting to the environment, we're literally bringing in higher frequency energies. And as they flow through the body, they from inside out, they simply create new cellular structure. They allow the emotional body to be purified and balanced, which allows us to love ourselves even more. And as we love ourselves, we then actually begin to feel that we're swimming in this ocean of pure loving consciousness, which is source, that we've never been out of the ocean. We simply had a belief that we were somehow being removed or we were somehow disappearing out of it. And of course, that's the great illusion of separation. The interesting thing about that illusion of separation, I was doing a reading for a young girl several years ago. She was 13. And I said after the reading, I said, "Do you have any questions that you might want to look at?" And she said, "When I was younger, around 10 or 11, every night the angels would come and they would sit at the foot of my bed and we would talk about the day and we would share some really wonderful feelings and love. And now the angels are no longer there. Why did they go away? Why did they disappear?" And I said, "They didn't go away. Your brain simply created a different frequency of connections that brought you more into linear thinking." And that's what happens around age 9, 10, 11, 12. We really make dynamic connections in the linear brain. And then our feeling nature sometimes becomes quiet. And then we no longer experience these finer dimensions of what we call reality. And I said, as you continue to grow, and because we've had this wonderful talk and you now know the truth and you know the possibilities, if you decide to really hone and refine your awareness, and with some meditation practices I'll give you, some gentle breath work, you'll find that in refining your feeling nature, you'll begin to feel them. And then over time, if you stay with it, you'll then be able to see them. So they didn't go away, they're simply in another dimension. The reason I bring that up is because I did a reading a couple of weeks ago, probably a week ago, for another young lady who was 13 years old. Um, and very interesting being, because as we're talking about adapting to what is happening on the planet, there not only is the increase in consciousness of those who are doing our meditative work, but there's a whole influx of new, old, wise souls who have been around from time immemorial, really helping in the architecting, in the evolution of the planet. A wonderful book called The Bowl of Light about a Hawaiian elder, Makua. And in the book, he said that he and his people came some 500,000 years ago to Earth on canoes of light. Well, what are canoes of light? It's simply beams of energy consciousness that are really flowing throughout the universe, and they were able then to move upon them. And through focus and intentionality, they came to Earth. And he said that they were here bringing consciousness to the planet at another higher level of awareness. But the only kind of, if you will, animals, the only entities available to receive them at that time were the cetaceans. And so they went into the dolphins and whales and began to create then conscious awareness, then flowing through the oceans around the consciousness of the planet. And so they were creating an adaptation to another level of consciousness coming into the Earth grid. My feeling was that this particular young lady who I was talking with, that she was probably one of those beings who came at that particular time. But then as I continued to observe her timeline of being within the planetary grid, I realized that probably 200,000 years after that, which would still be kind of young in the history of Homo sapiens, still kind of a rudimentary beings we were, that she was within a group of individuals who we might call elfin beings. Now, it's not the little kind of elfin beings that we might think of, but more the ones that were depicted in Lord of the Rings and in The Power of the Ring, some of those that are really kind of human and elfin energy. And what that meant is that they had a very high vibration. And because they'd got into the cetaceans and the whales and brought consciousness to the planet, they were able to adapt to all things around the essence of nature, Mother Nature, and Earth. They were somewhat, if you will, placeholders for the beauty and the grace and the harmony of Mother Earth. Now, they wouldn't be able to be seen by us because their vibration was so adaptive that they could literally blend with anything. They could blend with the forest, they could blend with whatever it might be. We still see that today with the octopus and the chameleon. An octopus can so totally blend with this environment. It can look like a rock, it can look like, maybe some ocean, whatever it is. Chameleons are the same way. They can hide behind, plants and within the trees. So they adapt to this quality that they still have. And so she was there at that particular time with these individuals holding a place of real harmony and balance with nature, even uplifting and adapting nature to be ever more alive and dynamic and fluid. And so here she is back once again. And I haven't really recognized too many of these beings that are like that, that are back at this particular time. And it's only because I really haven't been looking. All of a sudden, this person shows up and I'm doing a session, and all of a sudden I'm looking and feeling into this reality around this individual. And I realize, lo and behold, this is an amazing being who has been here from time immemorial on the planet, bringing consciousness to a higher level constantly. It's a little bit of a challenge for her this incarnation, though, because she's back in an environment, our world, which is so based in ignorance that she has to adapt very quickly now. And a little bit of difficulty in that because it's so overshadowing with the belief system going on. But I know from the wisdom of her soul and the being that she is that that's going to happen. And because we've had this opportunity to share and spend some time together, it gives her the seed knowledge that there is something very wonderful, unique, and purposeful within her life. And so all of life is simply adapting, and particularly now at this time on the planet, because we're moving out of the old, somewhat destructive paradigm of manipulation control, and we're moving into the evolution of human divine consciousness, where that which is the masculine of power is now the true essence of divine focusing of light and attention, and the divine feminine is balanced in love and imagination and creativity, which was honed and refined to its height in the Grecian time of the great Athena temples. So the feminine reached an evolutionary kind of maximum at that time. And now the masculine, which has reached its maximum with mind manipulation control, can be brought into another level of simply using mind to focus attention and light, and then hold it upon the divine feminine of imagination and feeling, which will then begin to create this new evolutionary journey, this adaptation to what is the ignorance on the planet today and the destructive behavior by not trying to change it or dislike it or judge it. That would be then simply coming down to the level of wanting to fight to make things different. What we are here to do is simply come together and be the living light and create an adaptation of such strong living sunlight emanating from us that it is a vibration that goes out, and you might say it sneaks beneath their power, manipulation, control agendas, and it begins to find and feel what is inside all creation, which is simply source, the ocean of one consciousness. And it begins to vibrate that purity that is within all creation. They might not know it, they might not feel it, but nevertheless, like a catalyst, it's being vibrated within them. As it vibrates back into life, they then begin to make choices that they unconsciously weren't aware of to really be more harmonious and maybe more helpful and compassionate. And so the world is changing by not fighting against it or disliking it or judging or criticizing it, but simply coming to a place of sunlit and glorious love. And so that is the new adaptation in consciousness that is happening on the planet today. And we are quite blessed because we have really found this tool, this amazing ability to hone and refine our consciousness through meditation. And with the influx of this whole new dimensional wave of beings that are here to, quickly and rapidly increase the frequency of light upon the planet. I think most of them are still fairly young, probably from just being born now up to their 13, 14, year age. Um, some of our children that we know are highly evolved beings and doing some great work. So it's an evolution from we being with one foot in the old paradigm and one foot clearly in the new paradigm of light and love, and our children, some of them being somewhat in the fringes of the old paradigm, but knowing that truth is really what they want to live, and now coming into the planet soon to arrive and develop these beings of great love and light. And as they change their frequency and awaken, just as I was speaking, the elves in the forest, they can simply change their vibration. And so when you're able to do that, you can be anywhere on the planet and be unseen. I've spoken to you before about the book, The Light of the Soul, and in it, it clearly delineates an awakened master is able to be invisible. They're able to be in multiple places simultaneously. They have all of these extreme, what we might call magical powers, but it's just because they've overcome the limitations of three-dimensional reality, knowing that it is vibration beneath that changes physical form. Most people believe that with their power and their energy and their manipulation, they can change and manipulate physical form, and you can do that. But if the vibration is still there and it's out of balance, it's going to come back to the old form. And when we change the vibrational frequency within us and begin to know that we can simply change the vibrational frequency of materiality, which is what the man Jesus was able to do. He could simply change the vibration of materiality. He didn't make the water become wine. He simply changed the vibration within it, and then it became in love wine. If you're trying to make it and manipulate it, it's really control. So we're not here to control. We're here to simply in love bring forth a new vibration. And as Jesus was bringing forth that new vibration when he was healing people, it literally went in and through and it found the perfection of source oneness within. As a catalyst, it vibrated it and they simply came back into full healing and life and light. But then he said, go forth and sin no more. Because if you once again go back to that old vibration of ignorance and manipulation and control, there's going to be suffering. It's just that simple. So at a very exciting and a very dynamic time on the planet where we're adapting life very quickly to what we look and see as possible destruction, both environmentally and socially and politically. We don't fight it. We don't dislike it. We simply observe it. As we observe it, we realize it's an illusion of separation. That if the vibration was different, it would look this way. And so we hold our vision and we hold our vibration on what it is we want to see, what it is we want to believe, what it is we know is coming. That's imagination. And as you're imagining that and always holding your mind steady, giving it light and energy, it will vibrate out from you and it has to happen. That's the law. It's simply the law of physics. If you focus upon the negative, things that are out of balance, things that are bothering you, things that you're worried about, it gives it energy. And then there's the fight to try and change it. I've got to make it different. I don't feel prosperous. I don't have loving relationship. I'm not good enough. Those are all lies. You already are the vibration of source oneness deep within the very core of your being. And so we're letting go of the illusion. This particular young lady I was working with the other day, I talked to her mother afterwards, and quite an evolved soul. At the same time, there was so much with her from somewhat the old paradigm coming into the new paradigm that she was always looking for more information, looking for someone to show her this or maybe find this or, always looking. And I said, it's no longer about looking. I said, you already are it. You already are it, just as everyone that I'm talking to right now, you already are it. It's the great I am that's already within you. And so you're no longer looking, you're simply unveiling the illusions, the emotions, the separation that were programmed upon you for a purpose, so that by working through them, you could adapt to more self-love, more light in life, and be part of the new paradigm. So nothing has ever been an error. It's simply been adaptation that you chose to work through to become more dynamic in light and life and joy. So what an amazing thing life is. Adaptation to more possibilities. And those possibilities begin to reach their climax in the focusing of divine masculine power upon feminine emotion and feeling, which is then the Christ frequency of manifestation. That's why we're here. So one of the things that, of course, helps us in this formation of light and life into this dimension is the summoning from out of the open doorway within the heart spirit. And that's with our breath work. And so when we're breathing in deeply, we're not really simply breathing in oxygen. That's one part of the adaptation of the body to be dynamic. It's also we're breathing from inside out spirit into this dimension. It's always been said that spirit is the breath of life. And this is then the fact of it that we're breathing it from the open doorway within the heart into this dimension. And as we then, with a gentle exhale, we're gently focusing the mind, once again, attention upon the imagination and the feeling of sparkling, effervescent golden light through every cell and tissue, adapting the body to light and life, and then letting it flow out from us as our gift to creation. So I'll simply take you through the sequencing of the breath work, knowing that we're breathing from the open doorway, but at the same time, my consciousness, my awareness is sitting at the open doorway. I bring all of my attention inward to rest at the open doorway within the heart, the doorway of the I am. I am breathing myself, spirit, into life and light. So by simply closing the eyes and feeling the body relaxing, I bring my attention to the heart chakra, the open doorway. And as I rest within the dark and velvety nighttime, like a coin, one side the dark and velvety nighttime, the other side of the coin manifestation and creation. I am the consciousness that breathes life and light. And with a slow, deep inhalation, sitting at the doorway, feeling the breath of spirit from behind me, from inside out, flowing into this dimension. I gift it with perception. I see it as golden, sparkling, effervescent light. I feel it flowing through every cell and tissue of my body, awakening the perfection I am. No longer looking, but being, I am. In breath, summoning spirit. Exhale, sparkling, effervescent light and life. Creator being, I am. Sitting at the open doorway, summoning spirit. To be sunlight and peace flowing like the physical sun from all around me. I sit at the doorway of the void, the infinite spirit I am, being summoned into this dimension by my breath. I breathe life and light. As Jesus once said, I am the way. The way is summoning spirit from the great open doorway to be the gift of living sunlight. The aura glowing, body and tissues radiant. The simplicity of breath. With the focusing of mind. And the imagination of golden sunlight and peace. I am both the breath and I am the manifestation. I am that. And all time and all space is within me. And I dream it into existence by focusing my mind upon the beauty of imagination. The simplicity of breath. And still resting at the open doorway, at one with both spirit and life, I can begin to allow myself to slowly come back more and more into the moment of the now. I am the light. I find in my meditation as I sit there at the open doorway that I can feel the cells and the tissues of my body expanding and letting go, creating space within them. It is said that the mind, the divine mind of the greater being you are, is simply holding the body in a molecular construct to purpose itself within time space. And so, in one way, it is an illusion. But until we master this three-dimensional reality, we are still somewhat trapped within the dimension. But with our imagination, we can feel it expanding and letting go. And over time, we see that it really is space that we are holding in a dimensional vibration. So I'm going to take you through the formulation of the star tetrahedron, which as it turns so very rapidly. If you can imagine an atom spins so rapidly, it seems to disappear. It's much like the elves who could simply disappear by blending into the forest. Their vibration quickened. And if you don't have perception at that particular level of consciousness, you no longer can see them. They're there. It's just like right now, there could be an ascended master. There could be angels all around, probably so. If our perception doesn't observe them, we see no thing. And that's why the star tetrahedron is such a magic possibility of really honing and refining our awareness. So once again, as we close the eyes, allowing our attention to rest at the open doorway within the heart, we can allow the tissues, the cells, the body to relax and create space. I am the field of consciousness that holds my body in molecular form. And as I relax and let go, the body expands and creates open space. And as I focus the light of the mind between the eyebrows, igniting focused attention, divine masculine, I observe this triangulation moving from right to left, divine power, focusing light. Beneath me into earth, the mystery of the mother, imagination, love, moving in a counterclockwise rotation. I am the consciousness that sits at the open doorway, observing triangulation above and triangulation beneath into earth. And I am the consciousness that has formulated this triangulation, that I may summon from the open doorway I am life and light into this dimension. Let's sit quietly together and I will join with you, and we will bring light and life into this dimension. And very easily, slowly coming back more and more into the moment. And when it feels comfortable, to slowly open the eyes. Thank you for coming and dancing in the light. That was a rumba. Next time it'll be the slow waltz. All right, my friends, thank you so much. Enjoy yourselves. Focus on love, light, joy, and be it. Amen.